Sena. Supreme Court puts disqualification proceedings on hold. Notice to Uddhav government and Deputy Speaker. Uddhav and Shinde stare at prolonged face-off. Supreme Sena war.
It's been 1 week since the Maharashtra crisis began, but it looks like another 10 days that this could stretch out. Relief for the Shinde Sena, but their luxury rebel vacation in Guwahati, Assam looks to be an extended affair till at least the 11th of July, unless something drastic happens before that. Hectic developments in Supreme Court today. Who's got the advantage? And are we anywhere closer to answering the question, Kaun banega Senapati? And who will be the next Chief Minister of Maharashtra? I'm Shiv Aroor. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do the best as always to answer some of those questions. But we're going to begin with Rajdeep Sardesai, a consulting editor who has with us live Deepak Kesarkar, one of the most prominent rebel MLAs, speaking live and exclusive on the big developments. Live with Rajdeep. Let's go straight.
And joining us now is a special guest from Guwahati. I'm joined by Deepak Kesarkar. He is becoming the spokesperson virtually of the Rebel Sena MLAs. Appreciate your joining us, Mr. Kesarkar. Let's get this first very clear. The Supreme Court today has now given you a breather. You don't need to reply to the disqualification notice issued by the Deputy Speaker in the Maharashtra Assembly right away. In fact, the next hearing is now only on the 11th of July. In the meantime, are you ready now to approach the governor and go in for a vote of no confidence against the Uddhav Thackeray government, since you are claiming you have the numbers now, Mr. Kesarkar?
Sir, we'll have to consult the legal experts, and if required, we may take that decision.
So you are saying you want to consult the legal experts. My question to you is, you have claimed you have the support of 39 Shiv Sena MLAs, plus you have another dozen independent MLAs. So you are in a position to bring down the Uddhav Thackeray government. What is stopping you from going to the governor, Mr. Kesarkar, if you have the numbers now, and saying, please bring in a no confidence motion, this government is in a minority? What is stopping you?
Sir, there are certain strategies which are to be strategized, which are to be decided by the top leadership, and they are into that process. And I don't think that at this point of time we should disclose it, but I can definitely thank for this result and the relief for our MLAs. And this is in a way victory for the democracy in Maharashtra.
But I will still ask you, Mr. Kesarkar, now that this matter has been prolonged till 11th of July, are you telling me that Maharashtra will have to wait to see what happens till the 11th of July? Because you have been in the Guwahati hotel, some of you now, for the last almost a week now. So I come back to it, what are you waiting for? You have the numbers. What is it? What is it that is preventing you from taking this step of going to the governor and saying Uddhav Thackeray has lost a majority, sir?
Sir, there are two ways. Either we'll have to go, otherwise, as a tradition, they will have to admit that they don't have the number, they should step down, and then we will form our government. If they don't do that within next 1 or 2 days, then we'll think about our strategy.
No, let me get that straight. If the Uddhav Thackeray government does not go in for a floor test, you will go to the governor and demand a floor test after 2 days. Is that what you are saying? Your bookings in the hotel are till the 30th of June at least. So are you telling me come 1st of July, you will come to Mumbai, meet the governor and seek a floor test, sir?
Sir, that is a strategy. As I told you, it was almost like a war. They were trying to disqualify us. Every way they tried it. But finally, we had a justice, And I think they should take a lesson from this. They should step down. It would become more graceful. And that is my request to them.
You are asking Uddhav Thackeray ji to gracefully exit without facing the floor test, Kesarkar ji. Is that what you are saying? Uddhav Thackeray on his own should step down?
Certainly, I feel that we have a great tradition. We have the example of Yashwantrao Chavanji, who were called to take the oath as a prime minister. Then he was the leader of the largest party in Lok Sabha, but he very politely refused it, saying that I don't have the number, because anybody could have occupied that place, stayed there for 1 month, and then he could have submitted his resignation. But Maharashtra has a great tradition, and we'll have to follow the tradition, which makes you great.
Sir, you are talking of Maharashtra's great tradition. Maharashtra's great tradition also does not include sitting in a resort in Guwahati for the last 5 days. Uddhav Thackeray's camp is saying, why doesn't Mr. Kesarkar, why doesn't Eknath Shinde come to Mumbai? This should be all settled in the Maharashtra Assembly on the floor of the House. Your claim that you have a majority of MLAs cannot be settled in a Guwahati hotel, sir. It has to be settled on the floor of the House.
First thing, that they have appealed to their workers to come on the road. Previously, they wanted to take the decision on the road. In a democracy, any decision which is to be taken is taken on the floor of the House. And if they don't understand that, and if they insist on coming on the road, I think first thing is to maintain the law and order in Maharashtra, and then we will very happily go there, because these were the tactics to put psychological pressure on our MLAs, where they have failed miserably. And now I think they should accept their defeat and they should step down.
So you are saying they should accept the defeat. In the same case, you have written a letter to Uddhav Thackeray, and I will quote from the letter, saying this is a fight for Shiv Sena's self-esteem. We shall not stop till we win it. I request our party chief Shri Uddhavji Thackeray to consider view and make a new alliance with the BJP. Here you are writing to Uddhav Thackeray saying form an alliance with the BJP. Now you are telling me Uddhav Thackeray should step down. Is Uddhavji still your leader, or is Eknath Shinde now your leader? Are you now a new party led by Eknath Shinde, or are you still with the Shiv Sena of Uddhav Thackeray?
We are very much in Shiv Sena. We are the legislative party of Shiv Sena. We have a different existence. And Uddhavji still remains our party chief as the chief of Shiv Sena party. And I have requested him, because his present government is in alliance with Congress and NCP. Unless he gives his resignation and asks us to form a new government with his consent with BJP, then only this government will come into existence, and that would become more graceful.
So you are calling Uddhav Thackeray to resign, then to join hands once again with the BJP and form a new government. A new government headed by whom? By Uddhav Thackeray or Devendra Fadnavis or Eknath Shinde? Who will be the chief minister of this new government?
That would be decided by the top leadership. Our group leader is Mr. Shinde. Whatever Shinde decides, we abide by it.
So you are saying that Uddhav Thackeray should leave the BJP, should leave the MV alliance, join hands with the BJP, and then Eknath Shinde will decide what happens, or will Uddhav Thackeray decide? Are you saying that Eknath Shinde now is the leader of the Shiv Sena and Uddhav Thackeray must listen to Eknath Shinde?
I'm not saying that. Eknath ji also respects Uddhav ji. He also respects, and like a god, Bahasaheb Thackeray and then Anand Dighe. So I don't think there is any dispute. And initially, Uddhav Sahib wanted to make him the CM of Maharashtra. He has spoken to him like that. But when Pawarji insisted that he should become the CM, then the things changed. And without his wish, he became the CM. He very efficiently fought the COVID, and we are proud of him. But now that 2.5 years are over, so he will have to decide. If and we had gone before the people of Maharashtra as a combination of BJP and Sena, and they have voted us like that. So that is the public mandate, as per which the next 2.5 years, we really request that we must form a government, and the Maharashtra should progress, because when the central and the state are hands in hand, definitely there is a better way to for the prosperous Maharashtra. We can take Maharashtra to greater heights.
Sir, but who will be the chief minister? Apparently, the deal is Devendra Fadnavis as chief minister, Eknath Shinde as deputy chief minister. Have you already struck this deal with the BJP?
I cannot say like that. I'll have to honestly here tell you that these decisions are taken on higher levels. So I'm just a party spokesman, and that means these groups, and that is our actually party in the Legislative Assembly. So my role is limited. And I think that I have today written the letter.
But
for
Mr.
the information of all the Shiv Sainiks which are
you are
coming on
saying
board.
you are a new group.
Yeah, we are not a new
No,
group.
Mr. Kesarkar,
Actually,
you are
we
saying
had-
you are a new group. Again, sir, just a minute.
Please,
Mr.
if it is
Kesarkar, you are saying you are a new group, but a new group to avoid the anti-defection laws may well need to merge with some party. Are you ready to merge with the BJP? Is that a possibility?
Let me complete, sir. We are not a new group. We are the original legislative assembly party of Shiv Sena, because it contained 55 members, 56 members initially. One of our MLA, he expired, unfortunately. Now we are 55. So that 55 or 56 people had unanimously chosen Eknath Shinde as their leader. So that position stays. It has not changed. And 14 or 15 people cannot change that position. So we are the original group. The 14 people which are left in Mumbai, they will have to work under Eknath Shinde ji, and they will also have to follow the whip issued by the legislative party. That is what I feel, and it should be as per law,
Yes.
I think.
Sir, but Uddhav Thackeray ji's group has named Ajay Chaudhary as the leader of the legislature party and not Eknath Shinde. They have removed him. Now the decision is left with the deputy speaker to recognize who is the leader of the legislature party. You have challenged that decision of the deputy speaker. No decision yet has been taken on that. So can you claim today to be the original, to be the official Shiv Sena party or not? That also decision may go to the court. This matter will get further prolonged.
There are clear-cut decisions. In Ram Paswan case, it is clearly said what your what is written in your party's formation, it is not binding. Whatever there is in the constitution is binding on the house. So it is clearly mentioned. Whatever your party's constitution says, the actual constitution supersedes everything. So it is very clear, and I'm sure there should not be any dispute, because it is a decided matter.
Sir, let me ask you two final questions. One is the fear that is being expressed by many people in the Shiv Sena, or their claim that many of you have gone to Guwahati not because of any ideological reasons. You have gone because many of you have ED cases against you. Many of you have serious investigations going on. You are trying to protect yourself. This is not about ideology. This is because you have struck a deal with the BJP. All ED cases, all IT cases will now be put on the back burner if you join hands with the BJP.
Sir, it is not at all like that. If you could claim, there could be 2 or 3 ED cases on our MLAs, but we are 50. Right now 51. How that number could come to 51? Sir, it is clear cut. We have told to our party chief that we do not go ahead with this NCP and Congress alliance, and we want Sena to be with BJP. Number of times we have told him, the matter was delayed, and because of that delay, we have come to this situation. Otherwise, it would have happened 1 year back, some 1 year and 1 or 2 months, maybe.
You are saying that this alliance could have, the MVA alliance could have broken down 1 year ago, Mr. Kesarkar. I will ask you again. The fact, Mr. Kesarkar, at the moment is you yourself have been an opponent of Narayan Rane, the union minister who is with the BJP in the Savantwadi, Konkan area. You have been in other parties as well. Is there any ideology in Maharashtra's politics? Is this purely about power? You are saying it is about Hindutva, but when Uddhav Thackeray ji broke with the BJP and formed the MVA government in November 2019, none of you objected. You were not made a minister. That's why, according to Sanjay Raut, that is your problem. You are aggrieved because of that. All of you have personal reasons. Why didn't any of you object in November 2019 when you were when Uddhav Thackeray formed this government with the MVA, with NCP, with Congress?
Nothing of that, sir. If you could see the pictures of swearing in ceremony, I was very much present there. I was never unhappy with Uddhav Sahib for not making me a minister. In fact, I was instrumental in bringing in very important meetings to see that the kind of defaming of Matosri was being done. I was hurt by that. I tried to solve that problem in my own small way. So you cannot say that I was unhappy. Mr. Raut says anything, and Raut is the person who tried to come to Sindhurga, and you know how he was taken out of Sindhudurga, that big fight against the terror. I have fought it. And for that, I was asked to come to Delhi at the PM's office, and the Honorable Defense Minister Parrikar Sahib, he has taken me to Delhi. I convinced him that you will get 50 leaders like me in BJP who are soft-spoken, who could understand, and Shiv Sena may get 1 or 2 leaders like me because it is a party which has come up fighting. So a little aggressiveness will always there be in Shiv Sena. So let me the bridge between you two. And I belong to Maharashtra, so I know the poor people. It is a poor people's party, and I have sacrificed my legacy of big business house, and I have come to this politics to serve people. So, you know, it is my duty to join that party, and I'll become a bridge between the two. That time they were together. He said, "You are right," and I also told him that I respect Modi ji so much that I'll not be able to refuse if he asks me to join the party. And Raut is criticizing me. It is something,
Sir,
I could laugh at it.
But Mr. Kesarkar, Sir, Mr. Kesarkar, why did you all not object in November 2019? Today you are objecting. Today you are saying this. We should form a government based on Hindutva. Why did you not raise a red flag in November 2019? Why only today? Why only now when, as reports are suggesting, ED is now tracking down several of you who are has cases against several of you, and therefore you have chosen this path. Why did you not raise this issue in November of 2019?
I can tell you the answer of this. Sir, we were told that Amit Shah ji has assured 50% sharing of power in Maharashtra, and which is not the commitment that was made is not being honored by BJP, and that is what was told to us by Honorable CM. So, Honorable CM's or Uddhav Sahib's pride or his, no, that comes first for us. Our party's pride, the commitments, that comes for us. So it was basically an adjustment to our principles. And then when we realized that these people are going to our own constituencies, declaring somebody as the next MLA, they are going to MP's constituency, they declare that he is going to be our next MP. So they want to finish the party because of whom they have come into power. Actually, people have not voted them into power. They were defeated.
So they meaning who? Sharad Pawar? So when you say they want to finish the when you say they want to finish the Shiv Sena, you refer to Sharad Pawar and the NCP. You believe they want to finish the Shiv Sena. You were once with the NCP also.
Sir, I had given my resignation to Pawar Sahib when he asked me to campaign for Mr. Rane's son in the parliament election. But one thing I will like to mention here, that Shiv Sena was broken thrice. Once when Chagar Bhujbal came out, second time when Narayan Rane came out, third time when Raj Thackeray left Shiv Sena. Every time there was a role of Honorable Pawar Sahib in breaking Sena. So I don't expect him to make Sena grow because he has his own party, NCP. I know how much he loves his party, and his party president have visited several of our constituencies and declared himself. So it was an official announcement. So how we could tell about them, and then they were giving the funds also to them to see that their candidate they win next time the election again our own candidates who are the representatives of that particular constituencies. And number of times we have brought this fact to the notice of Honorable Uddhav Sahib, but there was no action taken. If you could remember, after Rajya Sabha elections, Mr. Raut took a press conference and mentioned that those from NCP who were supposed to vote for us in that election also didn't vote. Then if they didn't vote, were they questioned? They were not questioned at all. And that anger in the Shiv Sena MLA's mind was aggregated in the member of Legislative Council election. And this has come to now. The other facts, you know, that we have come out of our from Mumbai. We are camping here.
Right.
And, you know, this is because of what happened in the past.
Sir, Kesarkar ji, why don't you come back to Mumbai and do a face-to-face meeting with Uddhav Thackeray? Are you ready for it? Sanjay Raut is saying, why are you all sitting in Guwahati? Come to Mumbai, have a face-to-face meeting with Uddhav Thackeray. If even one of you, according to Uddhav Thackeray, says he is not fit to be CM, he is ready to quit and do what you want. Are you ready for a face-to-face meeting in Mumbai with Uddhav Thackeray? Yes or no?
Sir, I had a one-to-one meeting with Uddhav Thackeray when 4 of our senior ministers were present. I briefed him about everything, but we have never asked for his resignation. He is linking two things. It's a kind of emotional blackmailing. Nobody will say that you resign because he is our leader. We love him, but still, had it been Shiv Sena and BJP in power as per your earlier pact, and it was to be divided 2.5 year, then also he would have resigned and given BJP the chance to form a government. So that was the original understanding. If the original understanding could not take place, that's why Congress and NCP came into picture. But we, from our own mouth, cannot say that you resign because he is our leader. It is as good as insulting him. So we'll not do that. He will have to think himself. And I think he should have taken the decision. We cannot insist that he should resign. Now the government has lost its majority.
You have any message? You have any message, Mr. Kesarkar, for Mr. Raut? You have any message, Mr. Kesarkar, for Mr. Raut, who is daring you to come to Mumbai, face the reality in Mumbai?
Sir, Mr. Raut's language, you must have realized it is very indecent language. And on the previous day, he says all Shiv Sainik should come to the road. And next day he appeals us, you come back to Mumbai to face those who are on the road. These kind of tendencies we have faced, sir, in Konkan. But I do not wish to fight with our own people. I want that peace should exist, and that is the responsibility of the elected government, and especially the CM, who is the constitutional head of the state. That is my only plea.
Aditya Thackeray is saying good riddance to bad rubbish. You have a message for Aditya Thackeray?
Sir, the previous day we were traveling in one car. That time he didn't thought that he is traveling with the rubbish. I know people like, Sanjay Raut. Prior to his marriage day, he was in jail because he was a Sena worker. His in-laws said, you will garland your photograph and that marriage will be performed. Fortunately, it came out that why his marriage could be performed. Gulab Rao Patil has 17 cases against him, all political cases against him. Dada Saheb Bhuse, who worked day and night to establish Shiv Sena in his constituency or in his area. All these people are trash. Do we get elected because of you? I was also a MLA when I was not in Sena. That time I had defeated Sena with a big margin. But I don't say that. We have everywhere in each constituency, the candidate have his own merit. plus the party's vote. Every party have vote in various parts of Maharashtra or anywhere you go, and then if it is added with the party's vote, you get elected. And that's why I think he's young. He should not use Mr. Raut's language. He must follow his father, who is soft-spoken and the new face of Shiv Sena. And he worked like, because he has a great future. All of us love him and all of us want him to be a great leader. And that's why he must have the patience. He should not talk like Mr. Raut, and he should talk like Uddhav Sahib, who is very soft-spoken.
I will ask you one last question. There is some talk that Mr. Shinde has spoken to Raj Thackeray of the MNS this morning. Is there possibility of you tying up with the MNS with Raj Thackeray? Would you prefer Raj Thackeray to Uddhav or Aditya as your future leader?
No, sir. Uddhav Sahib is our leader. Even Aditya ji is our leader. We respect them. And we continue to be Shiv Sena in the Legislative Assembly. And our request is that the original party also, led by Uddhav Sahib, should make a pact. And MLAs will also, of course, will be in the new government, whosoever they appoint, and will form a good government and will take Maharashtra to a great height.
So therefore, you are saying you do not want to split the Shiv Sena. You only want the Shiv Sena to come together, exit this government, join the BJP and form a new government. Am I correct? And by how soon will this new government be formed? Will Maharashtra get a new government by next week this time? Or will you remain in Guwahati now for an extended break?
No, sir. I think they should take a decision at the earliest so that Maharashtra could have a government which is in majority and could rule nicely. Because whatever decisions you take when you are in a minority government, they are bound to be cancelled when the new government takes the charge.
So you are saying that you want a new government and Uddhav ji is still your leader. Uddhav ji is still your leader, but you want him to leave this government and join hands with the BJP. That is your only condition. Am I correct?
Certainly, sir. And the honor of Mr. Shinde should be kept in that government. As it is, he was supposed to become the CM of Maharashtra as per Uddhav Sahib's promise to him.
And here's the very latest breaking on this unfolding political thriller. Eknath Shinde, in his latest tweet, has hailed the Supreme Court order. Shinde says this is a victory of Bala Sahib's Hindutva and teachings of Sena leader Anand Dighe. Meanwhile, we've got the inside scoop on the Shinde Sena's next plan of action. The Shinde camp is likely to approach the governor of Maharashtra to withdraw support from the Maha Vikas Aghadi government. Remember, the Shiv Sena has been split wide open, and now the Shinde Sena considers itself to be a fully functional political unit that can withdraw support from the Maha Vikas Aghadi. The Shinde Sena is likely to push for a no-trust vote against the Uddhav government and likely to claim that they are the original Shiv Sena. The real Shiv Sena wins is a hashtag that Eknath Shinde is trying to trend on social media, and he's also now looking to claim that he leads the original Shiv Sena group in the Legislative Assembly as well. Let's go straight across to India Today's frontline reporters on this big developing story. Vidya is in Mumbai, Polomi is in Guwahati, where the rebel base is situated and from where Eknath Shinde has launched this entire attack. Polomi, to you first. Eknath Shinde looking at the Supreme Court order today and basically interpreting it as a victory and saying the real Shiv Sena wins. But coming down to what his plan of action is, withdrawing support to the Maha Vikas Aghadi appears to be one of those plans of action, even though the next time things happen in court will be July the 11th. What is the next step in that case, Polomi?
Well, Shiv, this was always his plan of action. In fact, this morning itself, via the sources that we have inside the camp, we had reported that as soon as the Supreme Court order comes in, the camp will in fact approach the governor. Their plan was to get a stay on the disqualification proceedings, because at the end of the day, even if they forced a floor test and if they stood disqualified, 16 of them stood disqualified, that would bring their numbers down and it would completely, topple the number game altogether. There would have this entire effort to bring as many MLAs into the fold here at Hotel Radisson Blu would have been completely gone to waste. So now that they've got that stay, it's status quo. No action can be taken vis-a-vis those disqualification proceedings till the 11th of July. What they're likely to do is to approach the governor and withdraw support to the Mahavikas Aghadi government, compelling the governor to call for a floor test in the assembly, in which case they will of course hope that the Uddhav Thackeray faction will not be able to muster together the numbers and will fall eventually, which will then compel for the formation of a new government, in the sense if there is a possibility of parties coming forward, which would then be this faction plus the BJP that would put together the numbers, approach the governor, stake claim to form the new government in Maharashtra for the next 2.5 years before the next elections. The only spanner in the works could be the possibility where the Supreme Court has kept a window open for the Uddhav Thackeray faction to approach the court if in case a floor test is forced. But it has not stayed the possibility of a floor test being called. So the governor can still call a floor test, but these guys from the Uddhav Thackeray camp could possibly approach the court saying, what's going on? Why has a floor test been called while we've been stopped from acting till the 11th of July? How is this happening? So they can approach the court, but the governor can still call for a floor test.
Right, and that's the reason why Eknath Shinde wants to approach the governor with his numbers and maybe force that floor test, which Uddhav Thackeray's Sena does not want at this point. Vidya, Eknath Shinde saying real Shiv Sena wins. He's seeing it as a victory, relief from the Supreme Court. He's seeing this as a validation of his rebellion. What are you hearing from the Uddhav camp?
Well, Shiv, I'm actually outside Matoshri, the residence of Uddhav Thackeray. He's right inside, though his son Aditya Thackeray has been going to various meetings and holding various meetings with the party rank holders, or for that matter the general public as well. But right here, in spite of what Kesarkar was telling Rajdeep, that they want the MVA to be broken out. They did not want the Shiv Sena to be part of the NCP Congress coalition. In spite of all that they have been requesting, right now at this very moment there is a meeting between NCP leaders and the Shiv Sena. Uddhav Thackeray is actually going to happen. Dilip Valse Patil, the Home Minister, also part of NCP, is already inside. He is at the residence of Uddhav Thackeray. The meeting is being held while senior other leaders of the NCP too will be reaching here in some time. So certainly, as much as the people who have rebelled against Uddhav Thackeray really want the Shiv Sena to distance themselves from the NCP, it is as much more that we see that Uddhav Thackeray has actually been holding on to them, making assurances to them that the coalition will not break. Okay, very interesting. So, the final move appears to be afoot as far as Eknath Shinde is concerned, even though he's still camping. He's still camping in Guwahati. It's been 5 days now. Today happens to be the 6th day. Tomorrow will be 1 week since this entire rebellion actually began with India Today's Newsbreak. Stay with me, Polami and Vidya. Let's break down for our viewers now why Eknath Shinde is so suddenly upbeat. I mean, he's had the numbers. He has the advantage all this while, but he's sounding especially upbeat because of what happened in Supreme Court. No matter which way you look at it, it was big relief for the so-called Shinde Sena by the Supreme Court in this unfolding political battle. The Apex Court has asked the Deputy Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly to keep the disqualification of 16 Sena rebel MLAs on hold. So they cannot be disqualified right now. The top court has issued a notice to the Uddhav government and the Deputy Speaker and has asked all parties to respond within the next 5 days. Now, the Deputy Speaker, who is seen to be close to the Uddhav camp, has been asked to explain the notice sent to the Shinde Sena MLAs. The Shinde camp sitting in Guwahati has filed 2 petitions in the Supreme Court challenging the moves made by the Uddhav Sena
in the wake of this rebellion. The petition had also said that the Mahavikas Aghadi alliance in Maharashtra had lost majority in the House, as 38 of 55 Shiv Sena legislators have withdrawn their support to the coalition and are in fact physically sitting with Eknath Shinde far away in Guwahati.
The time to file our reply to the notice of the Deputy Speaker for our disqualification is extended till the 12th of July. Secondly, has directed and recorded the undertaking of the state government that all protection to life and liberty of these 39 MLAs as also their family members shall be extended by the state government.
Proceedings को कोई रोक नहीं लगाई है. Stay order disqualification पे है कि disqualification नहीं हो सकता. But that stands complete कि Deputy Speaker will call these people. जो notice गया है उसको invalidate नहीं किया है. इन लोगों को अपनी कार्रवाई के लिए शामिल होना ही पड़ेगा.
मौत आज आप टाल सकते हो, कभी ना कभी तो ये क्रिया प्रक्रिया होने वाली है ना. जो 12 MLAs है जिसके ऊपर ये तलवार लटकी है डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन की, वो हटेगी नहीं. मैं आपको दावे के साथ कहता हूँ.
Now let's just show you the big takeaways from what happened inside the Supreme Court today. These are the key takeaways. There was a lot of things that happened, but we've just broken it down into a few points. The Shinde Sena disqualification attempt by the Uddhav Sena is on hold. So that can't happen right now. Those MLAs are still MLAs. There will have to be a status quo till at least the 11th of July. So no disqualification of any kind can happen before the 11th of July. Now, the Deputy Speaker of the Maharashtra Assembly has been asked to explain the disqualification notice that has been issued. Now, the notice was issued by the Supreme Court today to the Uddhav government as well as the police on the issue of security. The Supreme Court has given 5 days for the Uddhav camp to reply to all of these questions. It has also ordered immediate steps to protect the rebel MLAs as well as their families in the wake of violence and vandalism that has been seen in different parts of Maharashtra. Now, amidst this raging political turmoil that is now 6 days old and unfolding minute by minute in Maharashtra, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut has been summoned by the Enforcement Directorate on Tuesday, that's tomorrow, in connection with an old case, the Patra Chaul land scam case. Earlier this year, the ED had already attached some of Sanjay Raut's properties in Maharashtra. Take a look.
अपने बाप के नाम पर पार्टी बनाओ और अपने बाप के नाम पर वोट मांगो. हमारा जो पार्टी का बाप है उसका क्यों आप इस्तेमाल कर रहे हो? आपको तो 100 बाप है उधर.
He has been the principal troubleshooter of the beleaguered Uddhav government, leading the fight from the front with a series of fiery counters.
जिस तरह की राजनीतिक हलचल मुंबई में चल रही है, महाराष्ट्र में, देश में चल रही है, तो मुझे पूरा अंदेशा था कि मेरे बारे में मुझे रोकने के लिए, शिवसेना को रोकने के लिए कुछ लोग इकट्ठा आएंगे महाराष्ट्र के खिलाफ और मुझे और मेरे कोई साथी है उनको तकलीफ देंगे.
And now Uddhav Sena MP Sanjay Raut finds himself in Enforcement Directorate crosshairs, summoned for grilling over his role in Patra Chawla land scam case. Amid the thick of Maharashtra power tussle, Raut was quick to dare the centre to arrest him, saying he is ready to be beheaded but not bow.
देखिए, मेरा आवाज आप बंद नहीं कर सकते. आप ईडी की नोटिस भेज दीजिए या मेरी गर्दन उड़ा दो, मैं गुवाहाटी से रास्ते से नहीं निकलूंगा. मैं यहाँ ही रहूंगा मेरे पार्टी के साथ. आप जितनी भी कोशिश करो, मैं मर जाऊंगा. लेकिन आपने मेरे खिलाफ ईडी लगाया, सीबीआई लगाया, मैं जेल जाऊंगा ना. आप मुझे अरेस्ट कर सकते हो. अभी मैं बैठा हूँ शिवसेना भवन में. आप आइए, अरेस्ट करो, मुझे बुलाओ कब आना है, मैं जाऊंगा.
Sena too quickly rallied behind Sanjay Raut. But legally, it doesn't look good for the belligerent Sena MP. In April this year, ED attached his properties in the 1,034 crore land scam case. Sanjay Raut and wife Varsha Raut's Alibag plot and a flat in Mumbai's Dadar were among the properties attached. The probe agency claims that Raut's wife Varsha, family members and associates in an arm of construction major HDIL connived and sold state housing body plots and floor space to private developers. ED says the private developers illegally sold the flats to buyers and total proceeds of the crime amounts to nearly 1,034 crore. The Sena rebels and the BJP justified the penal action.
उनके पास तो एक ही रास्ता है, जब भी कुछ भी हो जाए तो उंगली या तो केंद्र सरकार की ओर करे या हमारे नेताओं की ओर करे। तो ये बचपना छोड़ दें, वे आत्मचिंतन करें और ये उनके दल का अपना निजी मामला है। निजी मामले में वे अपने परिवार में उस मामले को निपटे, हमारा उस मामले से कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
It's not just Sanjay Raut who's facing ED heat. 3 senior Aghadi ministers, Anil Deshmukh, Nawab Malik and Anil Parab are facing scam heat and fire over underworld links.
As the legal battle is being fought in the Supreme Court of India, the political battle has turned Mumbai into a minefield with stakes high and a game of political upmanship underway. The verbal volleys, moves and counter moves are likely to increase till the 11th of January, the day of the next hearing for the Supreme Court. With video journalist Sanjay, this is Mosmi Singh in Mumbai for India Today.
And let's go straight back to Vidya, who's right outside Matushri, where deliberations are happening minute by minute. Vidya, you know, a no-confidence motion is the last thing that Uddhav Thackeray wants right now. You know, there may be some kind of protection from that happening, but the governor can still, you know, ask for a floor test and a no-confidence motion, which is what the Shinde camp wants right now. If that happens, how is the Uddhav Thackeray camp going to prepare for it? How will they be able to handle that?
Well, they actually do not have the numbers, but remember, you know, when Sanjay Raut, Uddhav Thackeray, Aditya Thackeray, whenever they say that, you know, whenever these MLAs come back to Mumbai, quite a lot of them will deflect. They have some sort of a confidence that the emissaries that they had sent to Guwahati might actually now, for the present, might have joined hands with them. But they are inside the entire Eknath Shinde camp. They are slowly trying to get the people, the MLAs who were probably in dual mind to, you know, think about coming back to the Shiv Sena fold. So that's a hope that they really have. Also, apart from that, remember, that's one of the reasons why so much of pressure, you know, the kind of language that is being used, the kind of words that are being used against those MLAs, trying to put the pressure of the cadre. You remember the Shiv Sena leaders here have been holding meetings with the cadre to find out exactly what they want and whether they could actually call up their own MLAs and tell them that they will not be supporting them any further if they really don't come back. So all the kind of pressure that is being put, they are really hopeful that by the time that game really comes around, that number game, they might actually still manage to pull back some of those who are in the Eknath Shinde camp and let those people not really be as successful as they are claiming to be right now.
Very interesting. So what Vidya is basically saying is that the no-confidence trust vote, if it actually takes place, the Uddhav camp has put up a brave face because they believe that once the rebels return to Mumbai, they might actually change their minds and then the number ka khel will be turned against the Shinde Sena. You know, this is tantalizing stuff and we will never know what the real answer is until that actual trust motion takes place, if it does take place. Governor Koshyari was suffering from COVID. He's back in office. He's ready to, you know, order what he, you know, is constitutionally authorized to order. But let's see if that actually happens. One of the big anticipations from the Supreme Court was whether they would simply announce or call for a floor test to settle this once and for all, since it has to come down to the numbers. But clearly, it's going to take longer than that. Thank you, Vidya and Polomi, for joining me. We're going to keep coming back to you on this developing story. The Uddhav Sena versus the Shinde Sena, meanwhile, has also gotten violent because, after all, we're dealing with angry, emotional cadres looking at their party being split wide open. Supporters of the Shiv Sena and the Shinde camps locked horns, as you can see in these pictures, in different parts of Maharashtra, especially in the Kolhapur district today. Clashes erupted between both factions. The situation became so tense in certain places that the police had to intervene and detain several workers, as you can see.
Shinde Sena versus Uddhav Thackeray on the streets of Maharashtra. Street clashes, effigy burning, sloganeering and street marches. Supporters of Shinde and Uddhav came face to face in Maharashtra's Kolhapur. Unruly scenes were witnessed as both camps indulged in a brawl. Cops had to eventually intervene and detain the rival agitators. Shinde camp is in no mood to budge even on the streets. Sena's most vocal leader Sanjay Raut's effigy was burnt in rebel chief Eknath Shinde's stronghold, Thane. Eknath Shinde's son, Shrikant Shinde, who led the protests, pledged an all-out fight to uphold Bala Saheb Thackre's legacy from Uddhav government in minority.
रावत का अंत कहां तक होगा? आखिर ये लड़ाई जाएगी कहां? रावत नहीं है, ये लोगों को जो चाहिए वो महाराष्ट्र के जो लोगों को चाहिए, जनता को चाहिए, वो जो है वो आज एकनाथ शिंदे साहब के नेतृत्व में जो है वो सभी एमएलए लोगों ने किया है.
Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, who is bleeding MLAs by the hour, ordered a crackdown on the rebels, stripping the rebel ministers of their portfolios, reallocating their posts among the remaining loyalists. Eknath Shinde's Urban Development Ministry has been handed over to Subhash Desai. Gulab Rao Patil's Water Supply and Sanitation Department has been given over to Anil Parab. Uddhav Thackeray's son Aditya was handed over 3 additional ministries. The two rival Sena factions engaged in a serious fight over Bala Saheb's legacy. Sanjay Raut targeted rebels and accused them of ditching the Sena and the Thackeray family for their political gains.
जो लोग 40-40 साल से पार्टी में रहते हैं और भाग जाते हैं, उनका जमीर मर गया, आत्मा मर गया है, तो क्या बचता है? जिंदा लाश, जिंदा कौमें.
The fight for the Maha throne is far from over, with both the Sena camps not ready to budge. With Mausami Singh in Mumbai, Bureau Report, India Today.
And this sensational claim by the Shinde Sena against the Mahavikas Aghadi government amidst this political eruption in Maharashtra, with rebel MLA Deepak Kesarkar, the one you just heard live and exclusive here on India Today, dropped this 4-page bombshell on the Uddhav Sena, claiming that Sena MP Sanjay Raut was trying to finish off the Shiv Sena on the orders of NCP Supremo Sharad Pawar. Of all the many conspiracy theories that have been doing the rounds, this is one that has got official sanction from the Shinde Sena, with one of the rebel MLAs actually saying that Sharad Pawar has put out a supari on the Shiv Sena via Sanjay Raut. It doesn't get more mysterious than that. He further went on to say that decisions were taken at the behest of NCP netas, making a huge declaration here on India Today. MLA Kesarkar claimed that the Shinde Sena faction will not pull back until they take Maharashtra to new heights. Now, Deepak Kesarkar's comments come at a time when the rebel MLAs are claiming a 2/3 majority to stake claim, and that's the reason why it is being seen that they might approach the governor of Maharashtra very soon. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has stripped the rebel ministers of their portfolios officially. And we've got another big twist on this unfolding saga on the other side. We're putting it together right after this very short break. Stay with India Today.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com or call 9999892171. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Everyone's busy finding what's trending. You're busy finding out why. India Today, for those who research before reacting. Download the India Today app now. Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.
You are watching
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com. India's #1 political reporter.
Defines what seems to be happening, vendetta politics. कोई दूध के से धुला हुआ नहीं है.
Unmatched eye. Unmatched experience.
The world has changed. My black hair has become grey as well.
And with unmatched passion for the story.
Do not monopolize the conversation.
When it's 100% pure prime time. It's News Today with Rajdeep Sardesai. Monday to Friday, 9 p.m. Only on India Today TV.
You are watching India Today.
Rebellion quake in Guwahati. Its tremors felt in Chowpatty. So what started as a resort politics by the rebel MLAs has now turned to vandalism and violence on the streets of Mumbai. Now that street fight has become a legal fight in the court. Can the Supreme Court notice today be seen as a possible relief to Eknath Shinde and the rebel MLAs? Because remember, right now the rebel camp's numbers are increasing every single hour. And with that, there is also an increase in their confidence, defiance, and now perhaps an ego boost coming in from the top court as well. But the question remains, is the clock ticking for Uddhav Thackeray, or will he manage to resolve the crisis? So when's the next big government being formed in Maharashtra? And who will be leading the Shiv Sena? Watch all that and more at 6 p.m. Prime with me, Pooja Shali.
이번에 김연애 총리소원께서는 장기간에 이제 8기 어처전에서 인민들의 생활상용으로 기준으로 내세우고 생산투쟁을 돌릴 수 있는 이런 가업 지수였습니다. 그래서 우리 공장에서는 인민들이 좋아하는 이런 샴푸, 그다음에
최대 비사망 체계에 맞게 소득 사업을 제일 순위에 놓고 진행하고 있습니다. 특히 인민소비품을 생산하는 공장으로서 바닥 소득과 기대들에 대한 소득 사업을 그 어느 때보다 더 강화하고 있습니다.
Make your media plans smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices.